because I'm going to make a food for Thanksgiving. And I've been looking for my things. See, I cannot do anything because okay, so Mr. Day, he's doing his morning routine today. He is in the road walking. Walking around, that is his morning routine. And you can find your morning routine also for yourself. Find your things. So we're going to my kitchen. My kitchen is kind of mess. Looking for something. Okay. I need water. I need the pot. Okay. May? Ate. Ate. Ano mo muna yung rice cooker pinalian, ha? Gagamitin ko yung kasirala. Sino nagsali nito dito? Ayun mo yung kasirala kinalian. Ay, yung tiko, ba't nandun sa kabilang kaldero? Hindi naman din ako nagkakulo. Ano? Dala ko ba alas 8 pasok mo? Oh. Good morning, guys! Rice cooker. Hello, guys! I'm still sick, so yeah, you're the only one, but it's okay. Wow, we have 8 viewers. Hello there. Hello, guys. Today is Thanksgiving in America, and my partner want to celebrate the Thanksgiving here. So I'm kind of busy. Today we don't have a turkey. So we are here in my kitchen, making mess and making food. Because making food is kind of mess. So by the way, this is my home. This is our home, me and Mr. Blake home. We've been living here for almost 4 years. So when the pandemic come, we made a simple room here. I've been washing this big pot so I can make a gelatin for making coffee jelly, for dessert. I'm alone making the food, as I'm saying, always, I was hands-on in the making food. Asa ng tubig? May laman yan?
Ano nga lang? Hindi ko alam.
Okay. So I just need to clean something. Kuha ng tubig. Maglagay ka dun sa karipilya. So guys, wait. I'll get my eyeglass. Oh, I'll bring you here. I'll bring you in my comment. So we are here in my room, in my messy room. Yeah, outside is kind of noisy because I just turned on my pump over there, and my pump is so noisy. If we don't have water in the tank, we need to turn on the pump. So you see my mess around. Hello guys, thank you for watching here. Let me turn on where's the pool? Oh, hi Dark Spider, I'm home today. And maybe the pool is later afternoon because we are going to celebrate the Thanksgiving later. Hi, Karin San. Morgan, hello. Dark Spider. Okay. Kiyaira Kiss. Hi there. I'm the only one. Hi there. Okay, so let's go to YouTube. I'm just setting up my TV here in YouTube. So there. So you can watch yourself. But we're going out. We're going to stay in the kitchen. You want to stay with me in the kitchen? Okay. New video. And there it's me. And we are live now. There. I've been watching with you, watching TV. Okay, so guys, let's go out. Move around. Hi guys. Okay, I just need my eyeglass because I cannot cook without my pot and the water. Oh my goodness. Later you will see the pool, Dark Spider. But for now you will see the mess for the kitchen. Okay. So I've been looking. Maybe I can make my camera follow me so you can see everything here. Ate, wala tayong gelatin? Ha? Kulay? Kahit ano?
Alam ko meron dyan, kaso nga lang unti lang.
Ha?
Alam ko meron dyan, kaso unti lang.
Ano ang tubig?
Dili ko isa. Kailangan mo pasok?
Sana si Jenny, kung magpapasok siya, napatid lang siya sa Kalaro. Nakabang siya ng jeep. Napahatid pa siya sa trabaho. Hello guys. So, sa langin na yan. Sa langin na. Anong nangyari dito sa niluto ko? You check the food that I make. I crack pot it and oh my god. Mantika ng lahat, apa. Tingnan mo nga kung may gelatin pa dyan. I'll say good morning to them, baby.
Good morning to them. Wow.
They're looking for the pool. They said, where's the pool?
The pool it's still there. We're just not there. But
Yeah.
we'll be there later on today, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can walk around there and make a live video showing the surroundings
Oh, okay.
if you want.
Sure.
So
Okay.
show them your home. I'll just turn it up this thing.
Pull it out and then flick it around.
No, it's okay. Just bring like
I don't want to bring like that. I guess I could. I'm more interested in them seeing. So,
okay.
there we go. Actually, here is our little home. So this is the dining room area, the eating area. Out here is our little patio. Here is the patio. And up there is our old chicken coop. There's the garden overgrown with so much stuff. Aha. Yes. Here is Michael. This is Sheila May's boyfriend. How long you been boyfriend and girlfriend, Michael? How many years?
4 years.
4 years. Yeah. Going on 4 years now. So the other day I kind of had a revelation about the word dukkha. When you define dukkha as unsatisfactory, I think you're doing the word has been mistranslated, and you're doing the word dukkha a disservice because you're really missing the true meaning of the word. The word dukkha came from the Pali word which meant bad, and ka, which meant whole. So it was bad whole. And it referred to the hole in the center of a potter's wheel. And when the hole was off-centered in the potter's wheel, it was called dukkha. It was a bad hole. And then so to my mind, dukkha didn't really mean suffering. It's something that doesn't function well. Because if the hole is off-centered in the potter's wheel, then the potter's wheel doesn't function that well. So I think dukkha really means... so the problem is, the mind is just not functioning all that well. And so, if you identify that as the problem, if you say it's suffering is more of a symptom. Good morning. And so suffering is more of a symptom. It's, or unsatisfactoriness is more of a condition. So you're identifying a condition or a symptom, and you're not really addressing what the problem is, which is it's a bad hole or something that doesn't function well. So if you think of something that doesn't function well, dukkha, so then the cause of something that doesn't function well, I've determined when it comes to the human mind or the human brain, something that doesn't function well is dukkha. But the next the next problem is the cause, and the cause of something not functioning well. It turns out the human mind, it's not functioning all that well. So I determine that to be a dysregulated mind, because I think if the mind is dysregulated, it cannot function well. So this mind that doesn't function well is its cause is a dysregulated mind, and the brain is a triune brain. So you've got a brain that evolved over a period of time, and this brain, as it evolved, uh, it developed, in the mammalian brain, the limbic brain. So you went from fish and reptiles up to whoops, here, let me show you. Whoops, we'll flip it around here. There's our little kitty. Hi, kitty. There's Sheila May, and there's Jan, and they're cooking today because this is Thanksgiving. And so let's see what they got here. Oh, looks like they got a bunch of boiled pork. Are they making bagnette?
Yes, of course.
Wow.
That's sisig.
This is going to be so you boil the, again, my favorite thing. It's called bagnette. And so, you got this triune brain. And, oops, this triune brain, don't trip me up, cat, please. Whoops, here we are. There we are, we're back live. So you've got this triune brain. You've got the brain stem, or they call it the fish brain or the reptile brain. And then you've got here, let me see. Then you've got the mammalian brain, or the emotional limbic brain. And then you've got the higher functioning brain, the neocortex. And this is afforded to all the primates, the monkeys, chimps. All the hominid species had a big neocortex. And of course, Homo sapiens, we've got a great big neocortex. So what happens is you've got this triune brain, but you've got an emotional brain, and then you've got that survival mode brain, the reptile or fish brain. So the reptiles and fish, they don't really have emotions, but mammals do. They have emotions. And so this vibrating brain, if it's out of sync with the reptile brain, or if it's out of sync with the neocortex, it's going to create unpleasant vibrations, especially when it's out of sync with the top brain. The top brain, the neocortex, the new brain, is the rational thinking, critical thinking brain, and most people have trouble turning it on. Because why? Because their minds are dysregulated. So then you get to the third noble truth, the reason for dysregulation. Well, the reason for dysregulation is people, they're not eating a healthy diet. They're eating a lot of junk food, a lot of sugars. And we're growing into old age, and we live in dysfunctional societies, societies that are always telling us what to do. You've got these leaders who really don't know jack shit, and they're telling other people what to do. And that creates a dysfunctional brain. And the reason the brain is dysfunctional is because it's dysregulated. So then, of course, the fourth noble truth is what they call the Eightfold Pathway. I call it the sharpening the saw. I'm saying if you sharpen the saw, then you're going to address all the problems of a dysregulated brain. So you can cure the dysregulated brain, and then you will have a well-functioning brain. So our goal is to get the brain to function correctly. And we do that by applying the habits of sharpening the saw, which is really a pretty simple solution when you think about it. It's like um, you exercise, and you need to do a variety of exercises. I would start by walking. It's easy to do, and you can do this for, half hour a day, 15 minutes, get started, start walking, make habits. Pretty soon you're going to build your strength. Look, I'm 70 years old now, going on 71 here in January. I'm the same age as Oprah Winfrey. We were both born January 29th of 1954. And on that day, we'll both turn 71. I also have an identical twin brother. Now, I've noticed that Oprah has a highly dysfunctional mind. Why? Well, I basically use body language and I use psychology, and I see if a person is actually sharpening the saw. So I can look at Oprah and I can say, no, girl, you're not sharpening the saw. I know you've got a lot of people on your show, and I know you read a lot of good books, but I don't know if you're reading those self-improvement books, and I really highly recommend reading books that are going to improve the human condition. And you can do it. It's not that hard. But I would recommend to start with read. Read is one of the little saw blades that you got to sharpen. You got to get that information into your head. So read. Listen. Listen not just to answer back, listen to understand the other person. Just, you got two ears and one mouth. Just listen twice as much as you talk. You know all about yourself. You don't need to talk. What you need to do is learn and listen. So practice listening. This is a skill that, when developed, will help regulate the mind. Eat a healthy diet. I'm not saying what to eat, other than I'm telling you what not to eat. Stop eating refined sugar. Stop eating too much fructose that you're going to find in some of these really sweet fruits. Stop eating all that starchy food. Jack LaLanne was the master of this. So look up the old Jack LaLanne videos. Now, Jack was a big fruit juicer in the end, and I think that probably led to his demise, because if you have too much fructose, your liver can't handle it. And I know that Jack would drink occasionally because he got arrested for drunk driving one time. I don't know how often he drank, but I don't have any of those coping techniques because I enjoy life. So my thing is to get you people to do what I'm doing. What do? I'm intermittent fasting. Now, I'm a severe intermittent faster. I'm strict on that because I was diabetic and I was morbidly obese. And so my goal is to get fit. So here again, you have the presenting problem. What is the presenting problem? Suffering is a symptom. It's not even a problem. So when people identify dukkha as the problem, or the Buddha, or whoever did it, the Buddhists back then, when they said, here's the problem, that wasn't the problem. That was a symptom of the problem. The problem was a mind that didn't function well. So again, what does dukkha mean? Well, if you look at the original Pali word again, it means du, which is bad, and ka, which is hole, bad hole. It was a bad hole in the potter's wheel that led to a potter's wheel that functioned, but didn't function so well. So dukkha means not functioning well. It really does. And when you accept that idea, then you're going to address how to get that potter's wheel to function well, because there's a number of ways to realign that hole and offset the balance of the wheel so that it's flowing smoothly and it functions well. And this is what you want to do with your mind. So first, you got to get your brain health in order. That's why you got to exercise. You got to build the good neural connections that come from physical exercise. You got to build the good connections that come from moving all that lymph around in your system. So practice your yoga. You got to get oxygen to your body. So you got to do some kind of a vigorous exercise so you can increase your VO2 max. This is the maximum amount of oxygen that your body can utilize. So it takes time, and it's not a rushed process, but it will heal you. So, I think it was Hippocrates who said many years ago, a couple thousand years ago, that the best the best therapy is diet and exercise. You don't want to use drugs. If you're Some people, they need drugs because they've broken their bodies to the point to where they need it. So I'm not recommending quitting your drugs. I'm just recommending for those people who can wean off those drugs, like the antidepressants and the anti-anxiety medications. Definitely wean off those drugs. You don't need them. The way, if you're having anxiety, it's because you're not doing your tasks. You need to do your tasks. What are your tasks? Well, you're responsible for your exercise. And you're responsible for what you put into your pie hole. And you're responsible for the amount of food you eat. So I went for my walk this morning. It's just a little 3 kilometer walk up and back. I'll do some toe touches. I'll do some planking. And I'll do all this before we go down to Feliciana today, where we're going to have our Thanksgiving. And it looks like it's going to be amazing Thanksgiving. And we've got a really nice little room there with air conditioning, and we'll be able to stay the night there too. So exercise, eat healthy. What I mean by eat healthy? Cut out the sugar. Cut out the sugar. Stop eating sugar. You don't need it. Your body does not need sugar. You don't need to eat fruit. You don't need honey. These are like panaceas that everybody thinks, oh, I'm going to heal up because I'm eating healthy foods, but you're still eating all the junk. If you eat the junk, it doesn't work. You're going to ruin your liver. You're going to ruin your gut health. Eat a few vegetables. I recommend, for your gut bacteria, because your gut seems to work better if you have a good gut bacteria. So I eat a lot of cabbage. I eat a lot of onions. I eat a lot of carrots. I usually cook it up so that I have some kind of pre-digested fiber. I eat a lot of kimchi. Jen makes our own kimchi because if you buy it at the store, you're going to get sugar. You got to watch out. Those food corporations, they're clever little buggers. They want to get you hooked on sugar. They say, oh no, you got to eat low fat. What do they do to offset the low fat so that you get addicted? They put sugar in it. Be aware of, if you're going to drink milk, drink whole milk and look at the sugar content. Now, the sugar content in whole milk, if it's natural sugars, lactose, be careful if you're lactose intolerant. Same thing with cheeses. But I eat a lot of cheese. I eat a lot of butter. I eat a lot of cream, real cream, not the fake cream made with vegetable fats. You got to watch out. They're tricky. Watch out when you buy those creams that they're not adding sugars to them. These food corporations, they want to get you addicted. They do. They don't care about you. They just want to sell their product. They want you addicted to their bullshit. And see, this is the thing about Dukkha. If you're overweight and you want to lose weight, and people come to me all the time and they say, hey, wow, Tim, you lost half your body weight. How the hell did you do that? And I tell them, well, I worked on getting fit, because you don't think about losing weight when you're getting fit. You think about getting fit. So being overweight is the presenting problem. So when and of course there's a reason that you're overweight, and the reason you're overweight is the underlying problem. So you always want to address the underlying problem. But with Dukkha, the problem wasn't even identified correctly. If it's a wheel that doesn't function correctly, if it's a mind that doesn't function correctly, then you can address the problem of, oh, let's just get this mind to functioning correctly. But if you identify it as a symptom, like being overweight, you're going to say, oh, let's get skinny. I'm going to go on a diet. I'm going to cut calories. Doesn't work, because you didn't address the underlying problem. Why? You didn't even identify the problem to begin with. Dukkha is not Dukkha is a problem. A non-functioning mind is, or a dysfunctioning mind is a problem. A dysregulated mind is a problem. So let's address the problems by identifying the problem correctly. So think of that. Think of Dukkha as in the human being as a mind that just is not functioning to its full capacity or even close to it. Why? Because of the foods you're eating. If you're eating sugar, your mind isn't going to work right. That's just the way it goes. If you're not eating enough healthy fats, your mind isn't going to work good. You can't build the good neural connections. I think they've discovered that this is a problem with a lot of people who are having these horrible conditions like Parkinson's, because the myelin sheath on those neural connections is fatty, and if you're eating trans fats, wow, you're putting a horrible fat in your body. If you're eating sugar, your brain's going to prefer sugar over fat, and you're not getting enough fat in your brain to make the good neural connections. So a lot of this is just my, you know, uh, findings with my experience and listening to these experts, and they are experts. Dr. Robert Lustig. These are medical doctors who are really good at nutritional health. Dr. Anthony Chafee, Dr. Sean Baker, Dr. Ken Berry, Dr. Pramdip Jamnadas, uh, and Dr. Eric Westman. These guys are experts. Dr. Georgia Eid is she's a psychologist, but she's discovered that some of these foods, and she's really keto carnivore and healthy vegetables. She's a very knowledgeable person who'll help you cut the oxalates out of your diet, which are screwing you up. So I eat kind of what they call an elimination diet. I just eat a lot of proteins, fats, and I eat a lot of fibrous foods. And you can make probably a million different savory dishes using just fats, proteins, and fibrous vegetables. I mean, it's unlimited, and the foods you eat are they're umami. They're very flavorful. They're very savory. They have really good textures, very palatable. In my case, sometimes almost hyper palatable because I can overeat them. And you'll see that when you watch this at Thanksgiving today. So I eat every day like it's Thanksgiving. So I'm an OMAD eater, and I don't suggest that you do that unless you want to. But it works for me, and I've done it for many, many years now. I started my keto carnivore diet here back in 2006, January of 2006. At that time, I weighed 306 pounds, 141 and a half kilos. I now weigh, well, this morning I weighed 69.95 kilos, so right around 70 kilos. I did a complete fast yesterday. So after today's meal, I'll jump up 1 or 2 kilos because I usually eat about 1 or 2 kilos of food. And then I'll stay about 71, 72 kilos until I do a complete fast again on Sunday, which time I'll probably drop down to about 70 kilos again. And that's how my weight goes. It's kind of up and down, but everybody's weight is like that. You eat, you put on weight, and so that's the food weight and the water weight you're taking on. And then you do a fasting day. And I don't recommend fasting any more than 48 hours. I've fasted 21 days on 3 separate occasions. The first time being July the 1st of 1969. And I ended my fast on July the 21st of 1969. And my brother and I did a challenge because we were in the summer of before we were going into senior high, which was our 10th grade year. And we did a challenge because we wanted to lose weight. So we both started up on the swim team on that summer. I'd taken driver's ed. I just finished up my driver's ed course, and I then got onto the swim team that summer, and that was right after my fast. So I did the fast first, and then I got on the swim team like a week later, and then I swam for the next 4 years. Swimming, exercise, great way to build those neural connections in your brain. You're going to build these coordinating neurons in your brain. These not neurons, but the interconnections between the neurons. You're going to develop new pathways when you exercise. So I recommend a variety of exercises. So eat healthy. This will regulate your brain and make your brain function better. Uh, eat exercise, and this will regulate your brain and make your brain function better. Study, read, write, and listen. This is three different ways for you to get information into your brain. And then you can use that information that's in your brain, and it's called kind of like a data perception, where you can just close your eyes and imagine things. And it's really nice when you've been reading and writing and listening, because you can use all of those to create data visualizations and sounds and kinesthetic feelings in your brain, and you're going to just start thinking differently. You're probably going to get happy because you're going to, when you fill your mind with these informative this informative data, when you put that deep into your subconscious mind, that's what comes bubbling out. If you're aligned with your emotional brain, the egoic thinking, you're going to basically ruin your mind, because you're going to create very negative vibrations. You're not going to be able to do your tasks. You're not going to be able to focus and read. You're not going to be able to focus and write. You're not going to be able to focus on people when they're talking to you and listen. You're not going to be able to do exercises. You're always going to be looking at the uncomfortable side of things. You're not going to be able to eat a healthy diet because you've got the wrong goal in mind. You want to lose weight. That's not the goal. When you develop a new lifestyle, you want something that's going to last you for the rest of your life. I'll never go back to eating sugar. I don't even like the taste of sugar anymore. It's not really a taste. It's just kind of a sweet feeling. When you get the real tastes of the food come from the umami, savory, uh, delicious taste that you get from the variety of phytochemicals. You add those to the meats and the fats. Wow, these spices, they really flavor up your food and make it delicious. It becomes mouth watering. And when you haven't eaten for say like 16 or 18 hours, wow, you're really going to be hungry. And so what do you eat when you go out to a restaurant? What do you eat? You're not there for the hors d'oeuvres, the little breadsticks. You're not there for breadsticks. You're not even really there for a lot of uh, these starchy, fatty foods that fill you up before you even eat. You're really there for the steak. You're really there for the salads. A lot of people go for the starchy foods because they're addicted to starchy foods. So, like anything, you can develop an addiction, and it's going to take you time to break that addiction. So, the way I recommend breaking the addiction is to just go cold turkey. And the way you go cold turkey is you do a replacement habit. So, do not calorie restrict. If you calorie restrict, you're going to waste muscle. You need to get fit. You need to build muscle to burn fat. Trust me, I know this. I'm an expert on this shit. I've been doing it for 18 years now. So build muscle, burn fat. Oprah, you can do this. It's not going to be easy, especially the first week. You know what they say is the first day is the hardest, the first week's the hardest, the first month is the hardest, and then it gets a little easier and a little easier and a little easier. And after, the Taoists say 100 days, and you've created a habit. So find those exercises you love. Walk, do some Tai Chi, go swimming, ride a bike, do sit ups, do calisthenics, do a little Pilates at home if you're familiar with that. Touch your toes, and just develop a routine and get those good neural connections in your brain. This will regulate your mind and make your mind more functional. Remember, Think of dukkha as a mind that doesn't function so well, just like the bad hole. It's just not functioning well. Will a potter's wheel work if the hole is off centered? Yes, it will. And you can kind of fix that hole. It just doesn't work so well. Can you correct the potter's wheel? Sure. Same thing with your brain and your mind. Your mind is like an epiphenomenon of the brain. It's evolved over time because the brain helps us to solve problems. Humans are problem solvers. If your mind is not functioning correctly, you're not going to be a good problem solver. That's just the way it goes. And if you can't solve problems, your life is going to deteriorate. My goal is to help you people develop healthy brains and well regulated minds, not egoic thinking. You want rational thinking. Rational thinking is free from the thoughts of me, my, and I. No thoughts are colored with me, my, and I in rational thinking. When you're rational thinking, you're thinking critically, you're doing logic, you're studying philosophy, it's science, it's empirical evidence, it's actually factual. If you are religious, you're going to have core beliefs that uh, and you're going to believe in faith. I mean, faith is an emotion. It's a dysregulating emotion. It never solves any problems. Faith has never solved one problem. Reason is what solves problems, and your mind is not going to be able to reason if it doesn't function correctly. So, sorry to all you folks out there who have a core belief that a God exists, because your God is not going to solve problems. And if you do believe in a God, you certainly don't need a religion to believe in a God. So religions are going to further dysregulate your brain, causing more brain dysfunction. So politics do the same thing. When you identify with somebody like Kamala Harris or Donald Trump or Elon Musk or any of these famous celebrities, and somebody says something negative against them, or even these pastors, you're going to get triggered and your mind is going to become emotionally dysregulated. An emotionally dysregulated mind cannot function well. The same thing happens when you eat unhealthy foods. If you're eating too many sugars, if you're eating too many fats, your brain is not going to function well, and then your mind doesn't function well. Remember, the mind is just a product of your brain. If your brain's not healthy, you're going to have a dysregulated mind. Your mind's going to be stuck down in the DMN, the default mode network. That's where you get it's the back of the brain and the sides of the brain here, the parietal lobe, the limbic brain, which is in the middle of the brain, and you're really not going to be able to function all that well because your brain's going to have unpleasant vibrations. Unpleasant vibrations will not allow you to shift into a higher level thinking. In order to shift into higher level thinking, you want to practice meditation. Meditation helps you to free yourself from the emotionally dysregulated brain. It helps you to free yourself from egoic thinking. That's the purpose of meditation, to free yourself from that emotionally dysregulated brain. Everybody's brain is emotionally dysregulated. I know because of the state of the world. And I know because people aren't doing their tasks. I can look at somebody and see if they've got a fit and healthy body. I can't look at them and see what their attitude is, but I can listen to them and I can determine, does this person have toxic manipulating behaviors? Because if they do, they've got an emotionally dysregulated brain. So morals and ethics, the studies of morals and ethics, Nicomachean ethics, virtue ethics, as outlined by Aristotle in the Nicomachean ethics, best set of ethics in the world. The Buddhist ethics of natural, objective, ethical principles. Study those Buddhist ethics. It's the golden thread. It's do no harm. Treat other people like you want to be treated. Strive to do your best. These are just sound ethical principles that'll help you get along with everybody on this planet. Nobody wants somebody around who's lying and cheating and stealing. You know, people like Donald Trump. Uh, oh, and if I haven't said it yet, fuck Trump. So, and fuck Elon Musk, and fuck MAGA. So, but it's not that I hate you guys. I don't. I don't hate Trump. I don't hate Musk. I don't hate MAGA. I want the best for these people, but they got to do it themselves. I can't take responsibility for the crap they put in their bodies. I can't take responsibility for the lack of exercise that they have. I can't take responsibility for their fucked up core beliefs, you know, calling Democrats snakes and saying that people from Mexico are horrible people. Oh, there's a few good ones, but the majority of them are horrible. That's some fucked up thinking. Come on, guys, let's wake up. If that's being called woke, then yeah, I'm a woke motherfucker. Am I a snowflake? I don't give a shit. You might think I'm a snowflake. I'm okay with that. You might think I'm an asshole. Don't tell anybody. So eat healthy. Oops. Here's my. Oh, she heard me out there. She heard me. Yeah, but now this is just just a little bit, baby. Just
I hear you.
Just a little bit.
I have your phone.
Oh, she's cheating. So got to tame down the language. So eat healthy, exercise, meditate, do some studying, read, write, listen, create better relationships. Don't think ill of other people. Think well of other people. We've all come from shit that you have nothing about. You know nothing about. You know nothing about my previous life. You know nothing about Jen's previous life. I know nothing about your life. I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to evaluate and say, is your mind functioning correctly? Now, if you're suffering, I can say, yeah, your mind's not functioning correctly. But identifying dukkha as suffering is it's like identifying somebody as fat. It's like, hey, what's the underlying problem? I mean, this is just the symptom. This is not the problem. It's a presenting problem. The presenting problem is suffering. The underlying problem is the brain's not functioning well. So think of dukkha as the off-centered whole that doesn't functions well on the potter's wheel. And that's how we think of it. You can think of it any way you want. Some people are really stuck with the idea. As a matter of fact, the majority of Buddhists that I talk to, 99% of them say, no, life is suffering, blah, blah, blah. Life is, it's unsatisfactory. It's this, it's that. It's like, okay, whatever you want to believe, I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. In our group, we accept the idea that the brain can malfunction and that it's probably malfunctioning and that you can fix that malfunction. And how do you fix it? Well, you fix it by sharpening the saw. You do your tasks. And if you don't do your tasks, which is exercise, diet, meditate, and study, if you're not doing your tasks, Carl Jung, the father of modern of psychoanalysis, said, "Hey, anxiety is kind of like a little alarm bell going off in your head, saying something's wrong. Something is wrong." And so that's a warning for you to go, "Huh? What's wrong?" Well, your mind's not functioning correctly because if you have anxiety, your mind's not functioning correctly. Anxiety is the feeling that you get from that limbic brain. Depression is the feeling that you get from that limbic brain, and you're pumping out a lot of cortisol in your system. If you've got chronic cortisol, you're really your brain is you can't turn on your top brain. Cortisol, an overload of cortisol, which will be created from too much. Oops. I think somebody's trying to call. I don't know. So yes, to green tea, the idea is to get people divided. The left wing, right wing, they're both part of the same bird in a sense. The way I see it is we don't need leaders to tell us what to do. We're adults, we know what to do. We don't need um, we don't need a hierarchy system. Hierarchy systems don't work. What we need is basically just a plan to follow. And that's what I'm giving people with Disciples of Tao. Our plan is, hey, let's get the mind to function correctly. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Filipino. I don't care if you're African. I don't care if you're old. I don't care if you're young. I don't care if you're homosexual. I don't care. I don't care if you're a man. I don't care if you're a woman. I just want your brains to function well. We're all human beings. So, what do people who are in charge and have an inflated psychology want? Well, they want money, power, wealth, fame, and status. That's not what I want. I want to live healthy. I want well-being. I want enough money so I can take my family out to dinner and uh, give them an education and buy them shoes and things like that. I want a fairly comfortable life, a life that's enjoyable, a life where I pleasures for me, eating a nice meal, going out and chatting with friends, going out and playing around a golf, swimming, going for my walk in the morning, traveling. I love those kind of things. You can't do it without money. So we all need some money. So my focus though is to get people's minds to function correctly so that you can make money. Because if your mind's not functioning correctly, you might make money for a while, but then as your mind deteriorates, bye bye money. Money's not going to solve problems. The problem you want to solve is dukkha. And dukkha, from my standpoint, is the off-centered hole in the wheel, which means it ain't functioning correctly. And the solution, the cause of it is a dysregulated mind. And the mind is dysregulated for a variety of reasons, but they're all identifiable. Typically, the main reasons the mind is dysregulated is because of our toxic environments, the people we're listening to. It's dysregulated because of our family situations, our lack of money, the trauma that we've suffered in our life, the horrible foods that are being forced on us by these food corporations, these horrible laws that our government puts upon people, like, oh, this woman can't make the choice to do what she wants with her own body, or hey, you can't smoke marijuana, that's against our laws, or hey, you can't do this, you can't do that, but then they allow their own bullshit, like Donald Trump. I mean, he's a convicted felon. I mean, he broke some serious laws. you know I don't like paying taxes, but you know what, I always paid my taxes. And when I was living in the United States, yeah, I made good money. I was a pharmacist, and my tax rate was right around 25 to 30% of the money I made. Did I like paying it? I didn't mind because I made good money. Now, I can understand when somebody's not making good money, not wanting to pay their taxes. And people are typically underpaid. I got lucky, and my mom and dad gave me no choice. They said, "You are going to college." And so, from a very little kid, I was reading from the age of 4. So, I got lucky. A lot of you people didn't have the advantages that I had. So, uh, it kind of is what it is. I mean, uh, fortunately, I was able to take advantage of those opportunities that were afforded to me. And here I am at 70 years old. I'm a pretty healthy, happy guy. And now what I want everybody, to become healthy and happy like me. That's my goal in life. And you're not going to do it if your brain doesn't function correctly. If you choose to smoke cigarettes, your brain is not going to function well. If and your body is going to deteriorate. You're going to ruin your lungs. I know. I watched my dad die. I was right there when he died, and he died from lung cancer. And let me tell you, it's not pretty. He just got to the point to where they were forcing air down his windpipe, and I mean, they were just blown in. It was like a reverse vacuum. And it was like his oxygen levels were still low. And he did that for a couple of weeks. And it was like, oh my God, how could he tolerate this? This must be horrible suffering. And it was. And then on the night of July the 25th of 1997, he called the family in. Unfortunately, my sister Lila was off. I don't know what happened to my sister Colleen and Tom. He was working the night shift, uh, or he was working an early morning shift. So it was just me and my mom and Chris were there when my dad was dying, and he still had the oxygen being blown into his lungs, and he was freaking miserable. He just said to me, Tim, I'm tired of this. He said, I can't stand it anymore. And I told him I understood, and I held his hand, and they pulled out that tube, and he started just gulping for breath. You know how it is when you can't catch your breath. And it was fucking horrible. And I said, hey, load him up with some fucking morphine here. And they did, and he kind of passed out, but he was still, in those, it was sort of like the reptile brain had taken over the brainstem, and he was still gulping. I could see his body was suffering. And I said, get him some more morphine, load him up. He's dying here. And so they did. And then he passed away. And let me tell you, lung cancer is not pretty. And no, I think for most people, the last few minutes of life could be very unpleasant. But the problem is my father's last 3 years of life were very unpleasant because when you smoke 2-3 packs a day, oh man, it's miserable. It's miserable your last 2-3. The quality of life goes down. And he died when he was, I think he was, well, he was 67 years old. Yeah. But I mean, when he was 64, he wasn't the same man. And a lot of people, when they hit 62, 63 years old, their quality of life is really going down. So you got to think uh, health span as well as lifespan. Now, my mom, she's going to be turning 96. Dog bless her. She's going to be turning 96 on Christmas Day. She was born on December the 25th, 1928. So she'll be turning 96. And as far as I know, she's still alive. I haven't seen her for almost 9 years because she was very unhappy with me because I had a Filipino girlfriend, and my mom she did not approve of other races, and she was xenophobic, homophobic. She was a school teacher, but that's just the way it was. My dad was he was well, he had a lot of racist traits, and that's just the environment we grew up in. It is what it is. You can't, you kind of get embarrassed because your parents behave this way, but sorry, that's what it is. So let's see, Green Tea. My taxes have skyrocketed, and I'm struggling to pay this year. Just my property taxes for 1 year are 10% of what I paid for my house just 9 years ago. Wow, that is crazy. I'm sorry about that, Green Tea. What I found is because when I was living in the United States, my taxes were high. Fortunately, I was always able to pay them because I had a good income, but I ended up losing it all. And then because my brother's a full-blown narcissist, a malignant narcissist, he cut me and I think both of my sisters off from the inheritance that we would have. I should have half my father's inheritance, but I heard that he got my mother because she has like dementia. I heard that he got her to go in and revise the will and shift. I think you can shift 10% over to my mother's side. So he's the sole inheritor of my mom's will, which I think is funny as hell because money is not going to buy him his health. And he's a very, very unhealthy person. He drinks alcohol. He his diet is kind of crazy. He can't seem to control his appetite. I think I've heard he weighs like 90 kilos. I'm weighing 70 kilos and we're identical twins. So you can guess he's 20 kilos heavier than I am. He's got of course, all the traits of narcissism. He's entitled. He he will never share anything. He's envious. He's jealous. He's prideful. He's slothful. He's lazy as hell. He runs the smear campaign on anybody who doesn't kiss his ass. He's an amazing guy, really. And so I've just stayed away from it. I always will. For years and years, I hoped he would change, but he never did. So that being said, that will dysregulate your mind. If you've got a narcissist in your mind will become dysregulated. If you don't have enough money to pay your taxes, green tea, your mind will become dysregulated. But I can tell you that, family can be very, very tough. And there's no real perfect family out there. It's really hard to find. It's really hard to find a family like Jen and I have here, where we encourage our children and our grandchildren to study and exercise and eat healthy. We're really on that eat healthy trip, and because 80% of who you are is what you eat. So build those good neural connections, get a good gut health, get good liver health, and chances are you're going to have a pretty good life. And so, regardless of the taxes you have to pay, green tea, just eat healthy and exercise, dude. Because if you don't, doesn't matter how much money you have, you're screwed. So hang around people who, if somebody's constantly putting you down, stay away from those people. You're never going to change them. I heard a little story one time on the it was I think I heard it on the radio about this young boy. He was like 13, 14, something like that, big troublemaker. And so and this kid lived in, say, like, I think it was like China, they say. And so the parents didn't know what to do with him. He was always in trouble at school, always causing. He was kind of like a Donald Trump, just egging people on and stuff, and manipulating people. He was a narcissistic kid. And so they sent him to this kind of like the Shaolin Temple to get him into, get him in line with society and make him into a better person. So this kid goes in right away. He starts causing trouble. He's a big kid, apparently. And he starts causing trouble. And so he ends up, he's getting some of the kids to bully some of the other kids and screwing around. And so he's up in the headmaster's office, and the headmaster says, "Hey, look, you got to follow our rules here, or we're going to have to kick you out." And he goes, "Well," he said, "I really wouldn't want to be kicked out, so yeah, I'll try to follow your rules." So of course the kid was lying, and he noticed that when he was in the headmaster's office, that the headmaster had he had all these beautiful vases, and one of the vases was a glass vase that was filled with gumballs. And he said, "Hey, can I have one of your gumballs?" He's an arrogant little shit. And so the headmaster said, no, you can't have those gumballs. Those gumballs are for children who behave, and children who misbehave, those gumballs are poison to them. And so the kid goes, "Okay, whatever, And so the headmaster says, "Well, I'm going to have to give you some kind of punishment." So he said, "I want you to be on cleaning duty every day, for the next month." So the kid goes about his duties, and he's doing his cleaning. He's kind of staying under the radar. And a couple weeks go by, and the headmaster says, "Hey, he says, I want you to make sure everything is clean and tidy. I've got to go on a little trip, he said, but I still want you to do all of your cleaning, including cleaning my room here. And so he leaves the kid the key to his room there. And then he takes off for his trip, and lo and behold, the kid, he goes down there and he starts, talking to all the other kids, and he says, "Hey, I know where we can get a whole bunch of candy." And the kids go, "No," because they're eating like just plain rice and food that's very bland, vegetables, no meats or anything, because they're in a Shaolin temple, and so bland vegetarian diet. I don't know if you've ever seen a monk's diet, but it sucks. So at any rate, he goes, "Yeah," he says, "I can get into the headmaster's office here. I got the key." So he rounds up about a dozen of the boys, and they all head up to the headmaster's office. He opens up, boom, there's that huge vase full of gumballs. And of course, the kids are going, "Oh, wow. No, we cannot eat those gumballs. We will get punished." And he goes, "Don't worry about it." He said, "I'll take responsibility." He opens up the jar and he starts eating gumballs. And the other kids go, "Sure, why not?" So they all start eating gumballs. Pretty soon, they've gone through half that jar of gumballs. I mean, it's obvious that somebody has really been wolfing down those gumballs. So the kids go, "Oh my God, we're in trouble. The headmaster's going to come back and he's going to find out there's no way you can hide this." And the kid says, "Don't worry, I'll take responsibility." And he takes that big glass jar and he pushes it on the floor, and blam, it breaks into a million pieces. And the kids go, "Holy shit, what'd you do that for?" He says, "Don't worry, I'll take responsibility." So at any rate, they all leave. They're all terrified of what's going to happen when the headmaster gets back. And sure enough, the headmaster gets back and he goes to his office, and he can't believe it. He becomes furious, and he marches down there, and he says, he knows that the one kid had the key. He said, "I know you have broken my vase and eaten my gumballs." And he said, "Is there anybody else here who's responsible?" And the kid stands up and he says, "Nope, I'm the only one who did it. I did it all on my own." And he goes, "Okay, up to my office right now." Right? So they all head up to, or the kid heads up to the headmaster's office, and I'll tell you the rest of the story after I finish doing my little thing about dukkha. So I believe dukkha to be the hole in the wheel that's off-centered, which is originally what the word dukkha meant, but I believe it is a wheel that doesn't work correctly, and I believe the Buddha used that as a metaphor for the mind that's not functioning correctly, or a dysfunctional mind. So it's just a mind that's not working correctly, or a mind that's not functioning correctly. And so I believe that the goal of the Buddha was to get the mind functioning correctly, because people were having anxiety. They were worried about dying. They were worried about paying their taxes or not having enough money. They were worried back then, as they are now, about living. And so this, again, Carl Jung said, if you're not doing your tasks, you're going to have worries. And so, and even if you are doing your tasks, you're still going to have concerns and worries. So this is where moral and ethical standards really come into play. But the main point that I'm trying to make here is that dukkha it's not really suffering. That's a symptom of a dysregulated, or a mind that's not functioning correctly. So if you think of dukkha as a mind that's not functioning correctly, can we solve that problem? Yes. And we do it by sharpening the saw. So the fourth noble truth is sharpen the saw, because if you're not sharpening the saw, if you're not eating healthy, your mind will be dysregulated. if you're not exercising, your mind's going to be dysregulated. If you don't have good morals and ethics, you're going to have guilt and doubt and shame and panic and fear. Your mind is going to be dysregulated, emotionally dysregulated. You're going to fall back into that default mode, which is where those brain regions of the ego resides, and you're going to start being concerned about yourself, and that's not helping you solve problems. When you are self-absorbed, you are literally in a horrible mind state, and it's usually an unpleasant vibrational mind state. So if you can think of these horrible emotional mind states as keeping you from thinking rationally, it's hard to study, especially if your brain is dysregulated. So if your brain's not functioning correctly, it's because the vibrations in it are bad. Why are the vibrations bad? Because guilt is a low energy, horrible vibration. Shame is a low energy, horrible vibration. Anger is a high energy, horrible vibration. It gives you power, but wow, that power diminishes as soon as the adrenaline's gone, and then you feel like shit. So if you can manage to meditate and free yourself from this emotional mind, then you can get into the higher brain regions that allow your brain to function correctly. So reading, writing, listening to understand, having good, sound, moral, and ethical principles is really what the Buddha was really trying to get people to do. Have a good worldview, think well of the world, have good intentions, do things right because it's the right thing to do. Think well of other people. Thinking ill of other people is only going to create bad vibrations in your brain. Why would you allow people like idiots like Elon Musk or Donald Trump to hold space in your brain and create bad vibrations? Or for those people out there who are Republican, why would you allow Joe Biden or Kamala Harris to hold bad vibrations in your brain? That's not serving you. The left, the right, it's all part of the same bird. And the bird is, here's the bird, and guess who controls the bird? It's these oligarchs like Elon Musk, Putin, uh, you know, uh, uh, Kim Jong Un, Xi Jinping, these corporations, these chemical corporations, these gasoline corporations. They're the real power in the world, and they control governments, and they want people fighting with each other. Why? Because if we're divided and we're fighting with each other, they're just sitting up top, lapping up all this riches, and they love power and money and wealth and status, and they're fine with you blowing smoke right up their ass. They think that's love, and that is not love. Love is when you really care about humanity and your fellow man. It's rational humanism. It's hoping that everybody does well, that everybody has equal opportunities. It's hoping that everybody has a life of dignity and respect. It's individualism. It's really, if you want a world like that, it's abundance capitalism, because we can have an abundance capitalism. How do you do it? Well, it turns out that the sun's going to be burning here for a few more billion years, that we're always going to have oxygen here for millions more years. We're going to have plenty of water for millions of years. So let's take those ingredients and make composted soil. So we make composted soil, and then what we do is we take the woody products that grow in those composted soils, and we burn it at a high temperature, create biochar, and add it to the composted soil. And then what you do is you make a biochar soil or a terra preta soil, where the microorganisms live and thrive. And those are what eat the rocks and the dirt and feed the plants. And so, of course, most of the plants are growing tall because of CO2, which is in the air. People don't understand that plants are carbon based and that they get their carbon from the air. So we need carbon in the air, but we've got too much. So let's take the carbon, sequester it, and put it in the soil. That not only gives a soil structure that lasts for thousands of years because it doesn't wash away in the rain like the soils do now. You know, the soils that are heavily inoculated with fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides. You're ruining the soils. You ruin the soils, plants can't grow. If plants can't grow, then you're really screwed. So the soils are washing away. We can stop that. We can sequester the carbon out of the atmosphere and put it back in simply by burning it at a high temperature. Doesn't put carbon in the atmosphere. It burns at a high temperature, so you're not going to see any carbon going up. That's that black smoke. When you've got a hot fire that's burning at 600 degrees Celsius to 800 degrees Celsius, you've just got a hot fire. You're not putting any of the carbon in the atmosphere. You're keeping it right there, and you're left with beautiful biochar. Now, biochar is just a soil amendment that gives structure to the soil. So, yeah, my goal is to create large biochar farms and compost farms and get the farmers, all the farmers in the world doing this. And I'm going to need some money to get my own startup going. So I'm going to need somebody like a Mark Cuban, who's a real humanist, or a Bill Maher, or an Oprah Winfrey, or Kamala Harris, or Joe Biden. People who really give a shit about other people. I'm going to need them to donate me some money. But I need George Soros, another wonderful guy. I need some people to give me a startup. If I don't have a startup, I'm going to be living on my $2,000 a month income here, which I have been for the last 10 years. So yeah, I've been living in the Philippines here for 8 years, been living on $2,000 a month. But you know what? I have a happy life. And but I can't change the world without your guys' help. If I get enough people on our YouTube channel here, Jen will start making enough money to where I can do this on my own. I won't need an oligarch to help me out, or somebody who's stinking rich. I need some money to start up, but this YouTube channel can do it. I know it can if I can get enough likes, subscribes, and watch hours. I think we can probably create an organization here that sees the world as savable. We can not only save the world, we not only can survive, we can thrive. We can create a world for future generations that's like a Garden of Eden. I'm an existentialist. I don't believe in. Oh, the rest of the gumball story. Yeah, okay. So the rest of the gumball story is, so he goes up to the headmaster's office, and the headmaster says, "So you ate all my gumballs, or half of them, and you broke my vase. Why the hell did you do that?" And the kid says, "Well, you told me that those gumballs were poison to bad kids. And I'm a bad kid. So I decided to poison myself by eating all those gumballs." And he said, "I ate so many of those gumballs that I got sick and poisoned, and I accidentally knocked over your vase." And the headmaster said to him, "Wow, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that I had, that little untruth would cause so much distress. I don't want you to kill yourself." And so the kid went back down to the other kids, and they said, "Wow, what happened?" And the kid said, "I bowed to the headmaster, and he bowed to me." And that's the story of the narcissist. They will literally manipulate the shit out of you. You know what? You ain't going to change them. You're not going to win. If you're dealing with a narcissist or a sociopath, you're going to lose every time. I think it was George Bernard Shaw that said, if you wrestle with a pig, you're not going to like it, because pigs love to get dirty and they love to wrestle. So that's it for today, folks. Hope this has been kind of an informative thing. Think of Dukkha as the the dysregulated wheel, the mind that doesn't function well. Why is it not functioning well? Because of our dysregulated emotional mind, which everybody has one, including me. And, things are going to trigger you. Politics, religions, people who say, oh, you're fat, or whatever, or you're stupid, or, people who treat you like a doormat. They're always out there. There's narcissists, sociopaths, and unfortunately, they control the world. There's not much we can do about it other than take care of ourselves. So that's what we can do about it. So the solution is find out what's dysregulating your mind the most, but also to just sharpen the saw so that your mind is pretty much functioning well all the time. So you don't have a choice. If you want your brain healthy and you want your mind to function correctly, you have no choice. You have to sharpen the saw. You have to eat healthy every day. You have to exercise every day. You don't have a choice. Otherwise, the mind just starts to deteriorate. It becomes dysfunctional. You have to have good morals and ethics. If you lie, cheat, and steal, that brain is not going to be vibrating correctly. Now, the thing about a narcissist or a sociopath, their brain doesn't vibrate like normal people. Because normal people, when they feel guilt, they don't like that feeling. Sociopath doesn't feel guilt. They don't feel shame. Same thing with the narcissist. They've numbed it down. They don't feel. They're always asking you, well, why are you so emotional after they triggered you? They just don't feel it. And they're the people who control the world. Why? Because they can manipulate your brain. That's their goal. They don't care whether you're laughing or crying. They don't give a shit about you. They have no empathy, or very little. Now, psychopaths, they get a bad rap because they actually can't feel the emotions that we feel. But they are, narcissists do not feel guilt and they don't have empathy. They also have something that most people don't realize, and that is low self-esteem. Everybody thinks, oh, a narcissist got high self-esteem. No. They've got horribly low self-esteem, but they believe they're better than you. And so what they're going to do is they're going to look for the chinks in your armor. And they will find it, because everybody has chinks in their armor. The best way to deal with a narcissist is to not deal with them, to stay away from them. Unfortunately, I know a lot of you folks out there have to work, and you have to be around these people who gravitate to those positions. And it's unfortunate. I'm lucky because I'm not in that working world anymore, but I dealt with it for 45 years. Working in the United States, holy shit, that was horrible. And of course, my mom's a covert narcissist. My brother's a full-blown malignant narcissist. Or I'd not really say malignant, grandiose. He's a grandiose narcissist. He's not evil. He runs smear campaigns. He's entitled. He treats you like shit. He treats you like a doormat. You're nothing. He's everything. I don't think he wishes harm, but he's okay with about half the world dying because he believes there's too many people on this planet. Whereas I've solved the problem with this planet, and the problem with the planet is we're ruining the environment, and we should be improving the environment because we're humans and we have the ability to manipulate. And together we can do it. And that's my goal, and that's Jen's goal, is to help people get functioning minds so that we can work cooperatively. Whatever your politics. And we're hoping to help put politics on the back burner and religions on the back burner, because they shouldn't be part of the equation when it comes to developing a good world and a healthy mind. So on that note, I'd like to wrap this up and say goodbye. Maybe I'll take you out here and show you a little bit about what Jen's doing with her cooking, because she's doing the Thanksgiving cooking today. And wow, we're going to have a great meal. Boink. Oh my God, that smells good. It's still alive, baby. So I'm
You're
doing
still alive?
still live, so I'm doing a little bit of filming.
Yeah. Making bagnet.
Oh, that smells good. Wow.
Ready fry this. Making bagnet. There's my daughter chopping out.
It's our beautiful daughter. And
Wow,
yeah,
you have a lot of viewers, huh?
I don't know.
When people fight amongst each other, the obligation pop. Empathy.
They don't.
Yes, green tea. Hello, green tea. How are you? Yeah, looks delicious for a Thanksgiving. I'm going to cook chicken.
I love
Yeah.
broccoli.
So
So we'll be what about 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock?
3
Three.
o'clock we're going there, and we're going to have a dinner by
And
4.
so my last meal was 3 o'clock
All
the day
baby.
before. So this will be at
It's in your
48 hours.
way.
48 hours since I've eaten. I don't recommend that for people unless you were diabetic or morbidly obese, which I was, and I'm never going back. So on that note,
Thank you very much, green tea.
thank you guys. Thank you very much. We'll see you again at about 3 o'clock our time.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much to your green tea, and hopefully, you always follow us and support us. This is really appreciated.
Yeah, it'll help us save the world. And who knows? We're only 6 degrees of separation, so maybe somebody will hook us up with a multimillionaire and they can give us a startup for our composting.
Yeah. Did you show them your compost?
No,
Okay.
I don't know where.
I'll show you sometime.
We'll show you our compost sometime. Okay, buzz. Bye-bye.
Bye for now. Thank you very much. How many?